Hi everybody, this is your girl Slick Vic. Welcome to Peace Toast and Jam. Oh my gosh, so we had an autumn equinox over the weekend, right? Was it over the weekend? Oh my gosh, why am I thinking? Yes, 22nd, Sunday. It's Tuesday already, so I sometimes get all jumbled up. Anyways, I'm in full-blown autumn mode. I went and bought a pumpkin roll. I got a apple cider, just a whole jug. I actually heated up last night. It was delicious. I got a apple spiced tea, like a hot tea, had that the other day. I have my little ginger snap cookies, my ginger something up there. I'm just pointing in every direction. And I full blown went all Halloweeny and decorated our little place with all that. Like right above me, I know you probably can't exactly see it. Well, I can kind of go like this. Hold on. Yep, you see the spider? Oh my gosh. And like the cobwebs and stuff like that. Amazing. Amazing. The best part was it was in our little shed outside, like this tiny little shed, and I'm pretty sure there's some real spiders and cobwebs that are like legit real that are just chilling up there. So anyways, what we're gonna do today, we're gonna do like a power pack, how to get your energy up, and we're gonna talk about all kinds of energy. It's probably gonna be like short and sweet. Of course, I always say that, and then this podcast episode ends up being like 20 minutes. But no, I'm serious, like really trying to just jam pack it, good knowledge, good energy, like boosters, and what you can do, how you can boost up your energy physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and we're gonna get it out there. But real quick, if you guys are looking for a community to join for free, or if you want to support me, there are different tiers, please join my Patreon. I have a free level, which is through my Facebook group, which is the Slick Vic Vibes group. If you just put that into your Facebook, look for groups, join it for free. I'm posting practically daily different quotes, talking about the seasons, astrology, spirituality, fitness, whatever comes to mind. And I'm just trying to grow it. So please join that. Tell other people to join that. And if you are looking for a community to join, I have a Patreon, which you can find that in the link in all my different bios on here, on YouTube. If you're listening on YouTube, if you're listening on Spotify, if you're just doing the audio version of this podcast, of course, go to Slick Vic BA on TikTok, Instagram, you name it. I do have my webpage as well, www.slickvic, and you can find all this information there. Okay, but anyways, let's get into it. So when we talk about energy levels, everything's energy. Like literally everything is energy. If we want to get real scientific, we can break it down, and that's where I don't have the knowledge or expertise with that. But everything's just buzzing around, like atoms and neutrons and all that jazz, and we are just balls of energy bumping together, and we make this. And then what's inside of us is our, if you believe in this, of course, our soul, our spirit, and we're all connected to everyone else. And depending on your belief system, even further than that, we do so much within ourself, our inner self, and then we are connected to everybody else. So what we see in someone else that may trigger us, it's actually something that we need to heal, and blah, 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 and we can go down that rabbit hole. But all in all, if you look at everything in that way, you could start to pinpoint where you're diminished, where you need to fuel up a little bit more. If we're talking about this reality, which is like the human reality, like this tangible reality, then we talk about that energy level. If we talk about the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, it's all different levels. So let's start with the physical. Funny enough, I brought this over real quick. So when I am training jujitsu, in the last couple months, I've started MMA and Muay Thai. I've noticed that when I'm doing those high intensity workouts back to back, like 4 classes in a row, I need energy. My physical body needs energy. I'm mentally getting stimulated, like, whoo, big time, right? And physically I'm getting stimulated because I'm working out, but I'm getting depleted. And mentally and physically, when I'm in those classes, I need something. So when we're talking about energy levels there, this is what I'm talking about. Also hydration. Oh, my water's over there. I'm not going to get it. But these are kind of energy levels you need to pay attention to. So I have fruit snacks, and I have this squeezable applesauce. This is apple and banana. It's delicious. So that's like, you need to pay attention to your physical body just as much as you pay attention to all the different bodies that we're going to talk about. So there's that. You have to really start looking at yourself in 4 different parts. That is something in which I've done over the last 4 years, ironically, and it's really changed my world. I don't just eat just to eat. I don't just, listen to music just to listen to music. I don't, fill up my head with different meditations or books or readings on spirituality and do those things just because I'm like, bored. Everything is very intentional for me. And so when it comes to food, I'm looking throughout my meals. Now, not always, of course, because I just told you I got like a pumpkin roll and like sweets and stuff. I do those things to replenish the wants and desires in this human form, but I know not to overindulge. I know when my body's depleted. So the fruit snacks and the applesauce squeezes are like my glucose. I need to replenish that. I need to get some sugar in my system. I need the energy, the hydration, because I'm obviously sweating a lot. These are things, this is why like diets are kind of silly. If you're just going to follow that forever, you need to start listening to your body. You need to start figuring out your physical form, what you need for you during the day and throughout your lifestyle, what is going to make you run the best. And some might argue like, well, you know, like a hot dog and, you know, a bag of chips and an ice cream cone will get me through the day. And I'm like, for sure, that could. Like, I'm not going to say it won't. But is that going to keep you going? You know, what are you putting in your gas tank all the time? So with all that being said, I really try to make protein the highest point of my protein and carbs, to be honest with you. And I'm talking about like good carbs. Those are like the 2 points in my diet right now that I'm trying to really focus on getting when it comes to training. So there's that for the physical part. When we're talking about the mental can be very much connected, at least for me, to the emotional, because there's times where if I'm not mentally doing the right thing, that it'll just drain me so much so that my emotions will then be very much connected to the mental aspect. But the mental aspect can be, you know, are you doing things to fuel your brain, the mental aspect of who you are? And a lot of times that could be, you know, listening to really good motivational speakers, podcasters, watching documentaries on a subject that's really interesting to you that you want to learn more about, going back to school, doing some courses, gosh, it could be anything, reading books that are of an interest to you. And let me also say this. A lot of times people are like, well, does it have to be so scholastic? And I'm like, no, you know what, you could do something mentally for you in the sense of self-care. That's like, maybe you want to watch a fantasy movie or series or book. And that's something I like to do. So mentally, there's times where I'm so stimulated that I want to watch something or listen to something that is of interest, but is it really needed in my life for educational purposes or for, you know, financial purposes? No. Like, I'm a big witch and vampire girly all year round. Not even during this spooky season, but like all the time. I love fantasy stuff. So I've been randomly just watching this actually 2 different Netflix series. One's like an interview with a vampire and the other one is like a witch something. But I'll do it when I'm folding laundry or if I'm cleaning the house. I'll just, you know, if I know I can just have it positioned where I can kind of listen to and watch it, I do that for my mental state. Okay, so that's like a mental thing that you need to listen to as far as energy goes. When it starts to get depleted, that's when we need to replenish it. That's when we need to fuel it. That's when we need to give into that part of us. And making sure the mental health part of that is very much given attention as well. So doing things for you because you need that time to do it. That it just flows right into that. Okay, next is the emotional, which I am such an emotional little crab. I'm a Cancer little crabby, and let me tell you, as far as like being empathetic and an empath and all that goes, I feel so much. And it's so interesting because I was just talking about this with my boyfriend over the last 2 days, because we got into this weird state on, I forget what day it was, where it's like we just didn't understand each other, and we were on 2 different levels. And I noticed then afterwards that I was more emotionally driven where he was more logically driven. And that is us to a T, like just by ourselves. So with that being said, in those moments after I've reflected and, you know, everything's fine, good, I'm like, man, what was going on? And it's like, emotionally, I was drained. Emotionally, I was needing a little pep talk, a little boost. And that's why emotions were, you know, not regulated, that there was an imbalance, if you will. So when emotions come up like that and you're starting to feel that way, that's where I was saying this is very much correlated to the mental health aspect of things. I like to either be by myself to figure this out, or I need to learn to do this more, to ask for what I need emotionally, whether it's a hug, whether it's just someone to kind of help me, like with a pep talk, if it will. There's a certain people in my life that I can go to that can really bring me up, that are sunshine for me. Because it's really hard always being the sunshine when you're like, holy crap, it's getting hot in here. I need someone else to like, take the sun for a moment, let me sit in the shade, give myself a break. So things like that. And as far as emotions go, you really just have to, in my opinion, start to break down a little bit of the logic, but also like, what is that emotion trying to tell you? Where are you lacking in the balancing of everything else? Because the emotion aspect, I think, will come out when there's a major imbalance over everything that's obviously not balanced. And that's where self-care can come in really big too. That it goes right into the mental health stuff. And the next thing would be the spiritual side. So spiritually speaking, and I'm going to talk from like a spiritual individual. I like to pour into the spiritual side of me, whether it's, saging, whether it's lighting a candle and saying my own little prayer. And when I say prayer, it could be religious for those that are very religious. It could be just spiritual. It could be just a self-empowering kind of prayer. It could be a spell, if you will. It could be anything that makes sense to you in your brain, in your heart, in your soul. But it's really just tapping into your inner self, and then also having a moment of like, how can I better myself so that I can show up for others and I can pour into the world, but how can I figure out more about myself so that I can connect more to everyone else in this life and the lives of everyone else that we're all connected to. Spirituality can also be tapping into the emotional, mental side that I talked about, whether it would be meditation or watching a documentary on some sort of spirituality driven topic. I'm really big on, the social media accounts, so like TikTok, Instagram. I will purposely follow individuals that are constantly pumping stuff that's related to spirituality, and it's super empowering. It's very educational, it's very enlightening, and all in all, it just makes me feel so grounded. And so that is where I'm gonna pull this all together and hopefully wrap this up very quickly. But all this is to balance you out, to ground you, and to fuel up all three gas ports in your human car, if you will, of the energy levels. If you could like see on your dashboard of 4 blinking lights, and they're telling you how much that you're depleted in each realm of your body, whether it be, the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual. And you can start to see like, okay, I need to pour a little bit of this in, a little bit of that, it's all to ground you out. It's all to make sure that you're as balanced as you can be. We're not always gonna be balanced. I mean, there's gonna be times where it's like, you just don't have the time in your day or week to really fuel the spiritual side or really fuel the mental side or whatever it may be. You might fall off a little bit with the physical part, and you're not able to eat as clean as you want or do the workouts that you want, whatever it may be. And that's okay. But the more that we stay in tune to our body, the more that we know ourselves, the more that we can see when these things are starting to go down and, all right, let's just take a moment and have some applesauce, drink some more, go for a walk. I don't know, take a nap, call someone that just lifts you up. Go to the library, have a really hard training session. I don't know, go out to eat, splurge a little bit, read something about self-help, read something that's related to whatever your belief system is. It's all connected. It's all connected. And then this is how we can replenish those energy depletion centers, and we can be the best version of ourselves so that we can show up for primarily ourselves, because that's our first priority, but then everyone else around us. And that's how we make the world a better place, because we make the world a better place by being the best version of ourselves and then sharing it with other people, figuring out what our gifts are, our purposes are, and then giving it away for free. Like that's the key. That's the key to that. So anyways, I hope this was helpful. If it was, please share this. Please tell someone. Please let them know if they're trying to figure out how to navigate all this. But with that, I'm going to keep it short and simple. So I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful morning, an amazing evening, and a lovely afternoon, because I did that backwards. But we're just going to keep things kind of silly today. So happy Tuesday, y'all, and I will talk to y'all soon.